Good Thursday evening, Southeast Texas. We're going to take an in-depth look at your forecast over the next 7 days, tracking moisture levels, fronts, and upper-level disturbances. Right now, it is certainly quiet out there as we overlook Gator Country. I don't see any Gator. They may be up over there. But anyway, it's part of the Roofing 911 Skycam network. In your weather headlines, we are expecting a weak front to move into the area coming up tomorrow, Friday. And that will likely generate scattered showers and storms. Think mainly up in the lakes area in the morning, and then that all starts to head towards the triangle as we work on it the afternoon and as the front pushes that activity closer to our area by mid to late afternoon. So if the front does as we think it will and stalls out in the Gulf and doesn't stall along the coastline, then some drier air ought to filter on in, and that means a pretty good weekend. Now, if that front stalls along the coastline, then it's going to be a different story. But what I'm seeing on modeling shows that the front goes at least out into the coastal waters pretty good ways, and that will allow that drier air to sink further in to our area. Otherwise, as we head towards next week, it looks very summer-like, and by that I mean around 90 each afternoon. Lows will be rising through the 70s and will likely be into the mid to upper 70s as we head on into, say, the middle of next week with, again, highs near 90 under partly cloudy to partly sunny skies and maybe a 20% coverage of afternoon and evening showers and storms depending upon the behavior of the sea breeze. In your allergy report, no tree pollen measured today, weed pollen and mold at moderate levels, and grass pollen at low levels. The weekend looking pretty good. We're looking at partly cloudy skies, maybe a little lower humidity coming up on Saturday. We'll go with lows in the mid to upper 60s and highs in the mid 80s. May be a little more cloud cover on Sunday with partly sunny skies. I'm not going to go any rainfall. Otherwise, lows will be again in the mid to upper 60s. That's a little bit below normal, and highs in the mid to upper 80s across the board. So right now, we are watching the sea breeze. This is what keeps our area so green compared to the west part of the state. And if you look at the satellite presentation, you see this layer of clouds. This is the sea breeze. What's happening is that winds are lighter up over the lakes area, and the winds are coming in off the Gulf. And what happens is that that flow off the Gulf, it causes the air to rise, and that's a lifting mechanism that produces shower and thunderstorm activity on a stronger sea breeze. And the deal is that this it moves on off to the north and usually brings us the proverbial 30% coverage of afternoon showers and thunderstorms during the summertime. The reason it forms is because the winds are stronger in the Gulf, and at nighttime the winds are lighter up towards the lakes and the triangle, and then that wind starts picking up, that land starts heating up, and it draws the air in. So as the air moves over the ocean or the coastal waters, it's frictionless basically. But once it hits the land, the land is friction. And so what happens is that causes the air to slow down and gives us basically a lifting mechanism to form this week's sea breeze front. Otherwise, not seeing much today. Otherwise, temperatures are into the mid to upper 80s. Again, we might see an isolated shower over the next hour or so as the sea breeze marches inland. But that's what the clouds are about, from Orange back over towards, say, Bridge City, Nederland, Beaumont, and China. That's a sea breeze. And some days it forms early, like at 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Back in the 80s when I was growing up as a kid here, you could almost time the sea breeze on your watch. Every day it would be basically between about, I'd say 10:30 and 2 p.m. every day, religiously. The sea breeze would move through the area. In fact, there was one sea breeze that was very active, lots of lightning, very hot, and it actually fried my family's central air conditioning. And that would have been about, I'd say 89 if I remember correctly. So sea breezes can produce quite a bit of lightning, but today's sea breeze is weak because we saw drier air over our area, at least subsidence because of that complex of storms that affected our area yesterday. So now we've got quiet weather conditions over us. We're watching showers and storms out in far west Texas. The question is, Will it arrive in our area coming up tomorrow as this front heads southward? So these storms may make a run. The winds in the upper levels are from the west, and they may start to weaken as they head towards the lakes area towards tomorrow morning. So that's what we're thinking, and as this front heads southward. So going to be watching those two features. So fog is going to be an issue tomorrow morning like what we saw this morning, and temperatures will likely drop into the low to mid 70s. Here comes the front, and remember that activity I was showing in West Texas? There it is along the front. The front's going to draw it on off towards the east in towards the lakes area. So we'll give the lakes area about a 40% coverage tomorrow, and then will it be able to generate showers and storms in the triangle? I'm not willing to go any less than a 30% coverage. We're on cap tomorrow. The atmosphere is unstable. We have a focal boundary and plentiful moisture to produce shower and thunderstorm activity. So about a 30 to 40% coverage. Could be more, but I still think we'll see highs into the mid to upper 80s, especially the upper 80s here in the triangle ahead of that front that then pushes out into the Gulf, we think, pretty far, and so that would allow drier air to filter on in. Now, again, if it stays along the coastline this weekend, the forecast will be a bust because that will be a focus for shower and thunderstorm activity. So we'll put this into motion. Of course, we're going to be watching the front head our way, and the green. All this green is moisture in the atmosphere. You can see lighter colors, lower amounts, and as you go up the scale, darker greens represent higher amounts of moisture, more to work with, more to create shower and thunderstorm activity. These blobs of red, those are disturbances. So as we have a front pushing through the area, we also have these disturbances. So they'll interact with the moisture and the focal boundary, this front, to bring us the chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms across our area coming up in the morning for the lakes and in the afternoon and evening for the triangle. So several features coming together to give us at least a scattering of showers and storms coming up on your Friday. Then, as you can see, the drier air. This is what this brown represents. You can see it goes way down the scale. Will be mixing into our area as we head towards Saturday and Sunday. So it looks dry to me. Sunday, though, we have what we call a shortwave, an upper level disturbance right there in the upper levels. You can see the disturbance, and that is going to cause more in the way of cloud cover, I think, as we work on in to Sunday. So we'll go mostly sunny to partly cloudy on Saturday. Sunday, it'll be more like partly cloudy to partly sunny. And I'm not going to go with any rain with this disturbance. Now, as we head on into next week, yesterday I was talking about this disturbance being a little closer to our area. The model has pushed it further to the north. And that's the problem with what we call deterministic single run models. You never know if you're going to have a good run or a bad run, and they flip-flop back and forth every day. That's why I like to use ensemble modeling. Regardless, quite a bit of moisture is going to be drawn into the area, so that in conjunction with the potential for a sea breeze every day next week will give us just a 20% coverage at this time. So it looks pretty summer-like. Then again, if the winds are too high, we may not see much of a sea breeze coming up next week. Regardless, it's just looking like summertime. It's 5 months to go. Otherwise, on the Gulf tomorrow, looking at slightly choppy seas around 2 feet and a westerly wind at 5 to 10 knots, water temperature at 87 degrees. High tides at Sabine Pass at 8:14 a.m. and 3:40 p.m. Our forecast tonight. So again, that convection off to the west will give it a 20% coverage for the lakes area, just in case they make it into the area before sunrise. Otherwise, skies becoming mostly cloudy and or lots of fog in the morning. Temperatures will be in the lower and mid 70s. This is what I'm talking about. Visibilities could drop to around a mile, a half a mile at times. So be cautious driving tomorrow. It'll lift tomorrow mid-morning. And tomorrow we'll go with partly sunny skies, about a 30 to 40% coverage of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Highs will be in the mid to upper 80s. And look at the northerly winds. That's good news if you want a drier weekend. So a 30% coverage is what I'm forecasting for the triangle. Well, this model says 60%. We'll see about that. We'll see who wins tomorrow. And high temperatures around 88. I'm forecasting 40% coverage in the lakes area tomorrow. See what the model shows. of 40% coverage. And I don't like the timing of it. And that's what we do as meteorologists. We look at modeling and say, okay, which one's doing the best, who's too fast, too slow, and that's where we glean our forecasts from. At 40% coverage, I think, is mainly going to be in the morning up in the lakes. Otherwise, as you can see, heat indices may get a little bit of a break at times tomorrow. Values between 90 and about 95. Otherwise, our forecast, our weather impact 7-day forecast, 30 to 40% coverage tomorrow. Then if the front, again, a lot of caveats, if the front stalls along the coastline, then we'll have scattered showers and storms in the forecast on Sunday. We'll go dry right now, and we may be able to shave off a few degrees right there. As you can see, those lows, you can take about 2 degrees off in the lakes area Saturday and Sunday morning. May feel a little bit better with highs in the mid to upper 80s. And then as we head towards next week, we will start to see more of a summertime pattern across southeast Texas as high temperatures will be close to 90 each afternoon, and lows will be, look at that, warming well into the 70s. Could be in the upper 70s by Wednesday and Thursday. The winds seem fairly windy right now. That's why I'm not going above a 20% coverage. And one of those days we probably won't see anything because windy weather does not help in producing a sea breeze. So that's what we're looking at right now. So let me get, since I'm running out of time, I wanted to show you over the next 7 days. This is the European model showing how much rain will fall. It looks like less than an inch. So that's what we're looking at. And again, there's your 7-day. Now, we want to address the 2025 hurricane season, the upcoming season. Normally, we see 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. NOAA came out with 13 to 19 named storms in their forecast, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 5 major hurricanes. Colorado State University, we're looking at 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. So above normal activity. It seems like it's always above normal, right? Well, the deal is that the water temperatures are still above normal, but they're not as warm as what we've seen the last 2 years. That's good news. There is going to be some shear, but also the monsoon coming off of Africa will be active. So we've got a lot of disturbances coming off of Africa. So that will also favor above normal activity. Obviously nothing out there right now because we're not in hurricane season, but it does start on Monday. So the names are Andrea, Barry, Chantal. We've seen Chantal numerous times over the last 20 some odd years. And Umberto, remember 2007, the fastest developing hurricane on record. They didn't retire it, so they just recycled these names. And then, as you can see, I really thought they should have retired Imelda, but they did not. Jerry, we saw that hurricane in 1989 that destroyed Highway 87. Nestor and Olga are some of the names. Pablo, Rebecca, Tanya, Van, and Wendy. Hopefully we don't get down that far down the list, but that's the names on the 2025 hurricane list. Otherwise, looks like we will see our forecast once again with a 30 to 40% coverage coming up on Friday as a front pushes into southeast Texas. That'll